Matt from the Trade Brigade here doing a technical analysis on ticker symbol LCID for Lucid Group. On the left-hand side, we have the daily time frame, and on the right-hand side, the 30-minute intraday time frame. First things first, this will of course be an update. We talk about the stock regularly on the channel here. The main thing I would point out is that we did break down underneath and did not hold the top end of the daily range that we've been watching for some time at 42.62. So to me, it's starting to look a little bit more like a bearish indication here. The fact that we were not able to really put in healthy consolidation above, give ourselves a nice bull flag here, and potentially continue the run on higher. So the fact that we've closed down underneath does technically put into play a look above and fail. We know that the target should technically be the bottom end of the range here, around 36 even, 35.85 if you want to be more nuanced and calculate some of those lows. So that's what we're seeing from the daily. We're back down underneath the 50 SMA and the top end of the range. Don't get me wrong, we do have a bump here at the midpoint of the range, closer to 40, also coming from some of these structural elements right around in there. So that's what I'm seeing to the downside. That's what the likely pattern would seem to suggest. Let's take a closer look at the 30-minute intraday time frame. And what we'll notice here is that the selling was hot and heavy and pretty sustained throughout the course of the day. We'll come in with the Fibonacci's from the high of the day, so the open, which was here, 930. There we go. Down to the first low, so coming into the green candle low there. Notice that the dead cat bounce never made it to the 38.2, so a decent amount of strength from our sellers on that move. We'll come in from the high down to the low of this hammer candle wick, just because there was a significant uptick there, but it never came anywhere close to that 38.2, so bearish yet again. And obviously we did close weak, dead on the lows of the day. We just want to know where that 38.2 is of the entire range. 43.25, let's go ahead and throw it on and then remove the fibs just so we can see how it pans out. In terms of other levels to watch out for. Yeah, would you look at that? So if I scrunch this up just a little bit, notice how it's also coinciding with some of these highs from the technical breakout point. It was a little bit north of 42.62, maybe it's 43 even if we just want to split the difference there. You get the gist, right? This zone overall is now going to be significant resistance now that we've closed firmly back down underneath. So some things to watch out for here would be, okay, if we get an uptick, are we going to resist here? So be on the lookout for inverted hammers. Needs a little bit longer of an upper wick. There we go. So something like that. Indecision dojis in here, basically things that make you question, right? The buyers are running out of steam. It's nothing more than a dead cat bounce. You can flip short back down underneath those lows and look for continuation to the midpoint as we discussed from the daily, and then ultimately the low end of the range. The other interesting thing that I just want to point out, it's not my expertise, I'm not a fundamentalist, but there is a lockup expiring on the 19th of January, which I believe is going to be the Wednesday of next week. And there's some talks that some of the early investors may dump for a substantial profit. Again, I'm not completely on board with that view based on a fundamental perspective, but if we clearly put in the pattern that would suggest that's a likely outcome, aka resist here, roll back over to here, then yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if the technicals marry up with that quote unquote story and it's a reason for the stock to move lower, right? So that's how I would think about Lucid as we move forward here. The only way for this chart to get back to being bullish would be if we immediately, like early on the Friday session, pop back up and over 42.62, call it 43, roughly that zone we just discussed. If we can get up and over it almost immediately and then get solid price acceptance, so like consolidation, maybe a higher low into the afternoon, that would, kind of save the chart here. But based on how we've closed, based on the action of breaking back down underneath, doesn't really strike me as a likely opportunity, but something I did want to mention. If you enjoyed today's video or learned anything new, let me know in the comments section or by giving the video a thumbs up. Don't forget our main channel is linked in the description. And all of that being said, I wish you a green trading week.